Albert Einstein entered the world on March 14, 1879, in the quaint town of Ulm, nestled in the Kingdom of Württemberg within the German Empire. His parents, Hermann Einstein and Pauline Koch, were secular Ashkenazi Jews who embodied the middle-class aspirations of the era. Hermann, a salesman engineer with an entrepreneurial spirit, had partnered with his brother Jakob to establish Elektrotechnische Fabrik J. Einstein and C.A. in Munich, a venture focused on producing electrical equipment powered by direct current. This move to Munich occurred just 6 weeks after Albert's birth, setting the stage for his early childhood in a bustling urban environment where innovation and industry were part of daily life. Pauline, coming from a family of corn merchants, managed a household with quiet efficiency, providing a stable foundation for young Albert and his younger sister Maria, affectionately known as Marcia, born 2 years later. From the outset, Einstein's family life was marked by a blend of intellectual curiosity and practical challenges, as Hermann's business endeavors fluctuated with the rapid advancements in electrical technology during the late 19th century. As a child, Einstein displayed traits that would later define his genius, though they initially caused concern for his parents. He was slow to speak, not uttering full sentences until around the age of 3, leading to whispers of developmental delays. Yet, this reticence masked a profound inner world. One pivotal moment came at the tender age of 5 when, confined to bed with illness, his father presented him with a pocket compass. The needle's mysterious deflection, guided by invisible forces, captivated the boy, igniting a lifelong fascination with electromagnetism and the hidden mechanisms of the universe. Something deeply hidden had to be behind things, he would later reflect, encapsulating the wonder that propelled his scientific inquiries. This event, often recounted in biographies, symbolized the dawn of his intellectual journey, where everyday objects became portals to profound questions about nature's laws. Einstein's formal education began in Munich at St. Peter's Catholic Elementary School at age 5, followed by a transfer to the Luderpold Gymnasium at 8 for more advanced studies. The gymnasium's rigid authoritarian style, rooted in the Prussian educational model, clashed with his independent spirit. He excelled in mathematics and physics, teaching himself algebra, calculus, and Euclidean geometry by age 12, even devising an original proof of the Pythagorean theorem before 13. However, the rote memorization and strict discipline stifled his creativity, leading to conflicts with teachers. One instructor famously declared that Einstein would never amount to anything, a prophecy that time would spectacularly disprove. During these years, a family friend and medical student, Max Talmud, later Talmy, became an informal mentor, introducing him to advanced texts. Talmud brought books on science and philosophy, including Aaron Bernstein's Naturwissenschaftliche Volksbücher, which imagined riding alongside electricity in a telegraph wire, a thought experiment that sparked Einstein's early ponderings on light and motion. By age 13, Einstein had delved into Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, finding it remarkably clear despite his youth, and his interests expanded to include violin lessons, which he began at 6 and continued passionately throughout his life, using music as a sanctuary from intellectual rigors. A brief period of intense religious fervor gripped Einstein around age 12, during which he composed hymns in praise of God and chanted them on his way to school. However, exposure to scientific literature that contradicted biblical narratives led to a profound disillusionment, fostering a lifelong agnosticism tempered by a deep sense of cosmic wonder. He would later describe his religious views as a cosmic religious feeling, rejecting a personal God, but embracing the harmony of the universe as revealed by science. This shift coincided with family upheavals. In 1894, the Einstein Company's failure to adapt to alternating current technology, pioneered by rivals like Nikola Tesla, forced Hermann to relocate the business to Italy, first Milan, then Pavia. 15-year-old Albert was left in Munich to complete his schooling, but overwhelmed by the isolation and the prospect of military service, he obtained a doctor's note, citing nervous exhaustion, and rejoined his family by year's end. This act of defiance marked him as a dropout and draft dodger, but it also freed him to pursue his path, unencumbered. At 16, Einstein attempted the entrance exam for the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, later ETH Zurich, excelling in physics and mathematics, but failing the general sections, including French, chemistry, and biology. Advised to complete secondary education, he enrolled at the progressive Argovian Cantonal School in Aarau, Switzerland, where he thrived in a more nurturing environment. Lodging with the Winteler family, he formed lasting bonds. He fell in love with their daughter Marie. His sister Maya later married their son Paul, and he befriended Michele Besso, who would become a lifelong confidant. In Aarau, Einstein penned his first scientific essay on the ether in magnetic fields, foreshadowing his relativity work. Graduating in 1896 with top marks in physics, algebra, geometry, and history, he renounced his German citizenship to evade conscription, remaining stateless until acquiring Swiss papers in 1901. Enrolling at the Polytechnic at 17, Einstein pursued a 4-year diploma in mathematics and physics teaching. The curriculum was rigorous, but he often skipped lectures, preferring self-study and discussions with peers like Marcel Grossmann, whose meticulous notes he borrowed for exams. It was here he met Mileva Maric, a brilliant Serbian student and the only woman in his section, 4 years his senior. Their shared passion for physics blossomed into romance. They studied together, exchanged letters filled with scientific musings, and Maric's influence on his early ideas remains a topic of debate among historians. Some suggest she contributed to his 1905 papers, though evidence is circumstantial. Einstein graduated in 1900, but his rebellious attitude and poor relations with professors hindered job prospects. While classmates like Grossmann secured assistantships, Einstein faced rejection, surviving on tutoring gigs and temporary teaching posts in Winterthur and Schaffhausen. In 1901, Einstein's life stabilized somewhat when he gained Swiss citizenship and, through Grossmann's father's intervention, landed a position as a technical expert, third class at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern in 1902. This cobbler's job, as he called it, involved evaluating inventions like gravel sorters and electric typewriters, sharpening his analytical skills, and inspiring thought experiments on time synchronization and signals. Promoted to permanent status in 1903 and second class in 1901, provided financial security and intellectual freedom, allowing him to form the Olympia Academy, with friends Conrad Habist and Maurice Solovine for spirited debates on philosophy, physics, and literature. Drawing from Poincaré, Mach, and Hume, personal milestones intertwined with professional ones. In 1902, Maric gave birth to their daughter Lizo. In Novi Sad, her fate is shrouded in mystery. Possibly adopted or succumbed to scarlet fever in infancy. As no further records exist, Einstein and Maric married in January 1903. Despite family opposition, his parents disapproved of her Orthodox Christian background and age. Their son Hans Albert arrived in May 1904, followed by Eduard in July 1910. Yet strains emerged. Einstein's letters to ex-flame Marie Winteler revealed regrets about his marriage, and by 1912 he began an affair with his cousin Elsa Loventhal, a divorced mother of 2 daughters, Ilse and Margot. The year 1905, Einstein's Annus Mirabilis unfolded amid this domestic backdrop. Working in his spare time, he published 4 revolutionary papers in Annalen der Physik. The first, on the photoelectric effect, posited light as quanta, photons, explaining why light ejects electrons from metals only above certain frequencies, a quantum leap that earned him the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics, awarded in 1922. This work built on Max Planck's quantum hypothesis, challenging wave theory and laying quantum mechanics foundation. The second paper analyzed Brownian motion, providing empirical proof for atoms' existence by modeling particle jiggling in fluids as molecular collisions, bolstering kinetic theory. The third introduced special relativity, reconciling mechanics and electromagnetism by asserting physics laws are identical in all inertial frames, and light speed is constant, leading to time dilation, length contraction, and the iconic even-C curve equating mass and energy. The fourth elaborated on mass-energy equivalence, showing a body's inertia depends on its energy content. These papers catapulted Einstein from obscurity. In 1908, he became private docent at Bern University, lecturing unpaid. By 1909, he resigned from the patent office for an associate professorship at Zurich University, then moved to Prague's German University in 1911 as full professor, where he predicted light bending by gravity. Returning to ETH Zurich in 1912, he collaborated with Grossmann on mathematical tools for general relativity. Using tensor calculus, in 1914, he accepted a prestigious Berlin post, member of the Prussian Academy, professor at Humboldt University, and director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics salaried without teaching duties. Berlin years were turbulent. World War I erupted, and Einstein, a pacifist, signed the manifesto to Europeans against nationalism. His marriage crumbled. Marriage discovered his affair with Elsa, leading to separation in 1914. She returned to Zurich with the sons, and they divorced in 1919, with Einstein agreeing to give her his Nobel money. He married Elsa that year, adopting her daughters. Their union, though affectionate, included his extramarital liaisons, like with Secretary Betty Neumann in 1923. Scientifically, Berlin hosted Einstein's triumph, the 1915 general theory of relativity, extending special relativity to accelerated frames and gravity, portraying it as space-time curvature caused by mass. Equations described how matter warps space, affecting light and motion. In 1919, British astronomer Arthur Eddington's solar eclipse expedition confirmed light deflection by the sun, making Einstein a global celebrity overnight. Newspapers hailed revolution in science, new theory of the universe, and crowds mobbed his lectures. The 1920s brought fame and controversy. Einstein toured worldwide, lecturing in Europe, America, Japan, and Palestine. He advanced quantum theory, proposing stimulated emission laser basis in 1917 and Bose-Einstein statistics in 1924, predicting Bose-Einstein condensates. Yet, he grew uneasy with quantum mechanics' probabilistic nature, famously debating Niels Bohr. God does not play dice. His unified field theory quest, merging gravity and electromagnetism, began but remained elusive. Politically, Einstein championed Zionism, supporting a Jewish homeland, while advocating Arab-Jewish cooperation. He helped found Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and was offered Israel's presidency in 1952, which he declined. A staunch pacifist, he opposed WWI and mandatory service. As Nazis rose, his Jewish heritage and leftist views made him a target. In 1933, his books were burned, and a bounty was placed on his head. Vacationing in Belgium, he renounced German citizenship, required in 1914, and emigrated to America, settling at Princeton's Institute for Advanced Study, a haven for intellectuals. In the US, Einstein became a citizen in 1940, retaining Swiss ties. He enjoyed sailing, violin playing, and simple living, often walking barefoot or in sandals. His iconic image, Wild hair, rumpled clothes, belied a gentle humor and profound humanism. World War II posed dilemmas. In 1939, alerted by Leo Szilard to Nazi atomic potential, he signed a letter to President Roosevelt urging U.S. bomb research, later regretting it as his one great mistake. After Hiroshima, post-war, he advocated nuclear disarmament, world government, and civil rights, testifying against McCarthyism and supporting figures like W.E.B. Du Bois. Later scientific efforts focused on unified theory, critiquing quantum incompleteness via thought experiments like EPR paradox in 1935, highlighting entanglement. Though unsuccessful in unification, his work inspired string theory and beyond. Health declined. In 1955, an aortic aneurysm ruptured, refusing surgery. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. He died on April 18, 1955, at 76 in Princeton Hospital. His brain was preserved for study, revealing unique features, but his ashes were scattered per wishes.
Einstein's legacy endures as the archetype of genius. His theories underpin GPS, black hole research, and cosmology. Relativity confirmed by gravitational waves in 2015. Beyond science, he symbolized moral courage, warning against militarism and intolerance. Honors included Times Person of the Century, countless doctorates, and the element Einsteinium. His life, from humble beginnings to cosmic insights, reminds us that curiosity and perseverance can unravel the universe's secrets, inspiring generations to question, explore, and dream. In the modest confines of his Bern apartment, 26-year-old Albert Einstein, a patent clerk by day, transformed physics in 1905 with 4 papers that reshaped humanity's understanding of the universe. Living with Mileva Maric and their infant son Hans Albert, Einstein juggled family life and a demanding job evaluating inventions, yet his evenings were devoted to thought experiments that unraveled nature's deepest mysteries. The Swiss Patent Office, far from stifling him, offered a unique vantage point. Analyzing devices like electromechanical timers honed his ability to distill complex ideas into elegant principles. His small circle of friends in the Olympia Academy, Conrad Habicht and Maurice Solavine, provided a sounding board, debating everything from Poincaré's relativity ideas to Spinoza's philosophy over coffee and cigars in his cramped living room.
The first paper, published in March in Annalen der Physik, tackled the photoelectric effect. Einstein proposed that light behaves not only as a wave, but as discrete packets of energy, quanti, later called photons. This explained why ultraviolet light, but not dimmer red light, could eject electrons from metal surfaces, building on Max Planck's quantum hypothesis, which treated energy emission in discrete units to solve the blackbody radiation puzzle. Einstein's insight was radical. Light itself was quantized. This challenged classical wave theory and laid a cornerstone for quantum mechanics, though it took years for the scientific community to fully grasp its implications. In 1921, this work earned him the Nobel Prize, cited for its explanation of the photoelectric effect, rather than his more controversial relativity theories. In May, Einstein turned to Brownian motion, the erratic dance of pollen grains in water observed by botanist Robert Brown decades earlier. Einstein modeled this as particles buffeted by invisible molecules, providing a mathematical framework that confirmed the atomic theory still debated in 1905. Using statistical mechanics, he derived equations showing how particle motion reflected molecular collisions, offering a way to measure atomic sizes indirectly. This paper didn't just validate atoms' existence, it bridged physics and chemistry, influencing fields from colloid science to nanotechnology. Jean Perrin's experiments later verified Einstein's predictions, cementing his reputation. Jean brought the third paper, introducing special relativity. Einstein's starting point was a paradox. Maxwell's equations for electromagnetism implied light speed was constant, yet Newtonian mechanics assumed absolute time and space. Inspired by childhood musings about riding a light beam, Einstein proposed two postulates. The laws of physics are identical in all inertial non-accelerating frames, and light speed in a vacuum is constant, regardless of the source's motion. This led to startling conclusions. Time slows for moving observers, time dilation, length contract, and simultaneity is relative. The paper, On the Electrodynamics of Moving Bodies, was deceptively simple, using high school algebra, yet overturning centuries-old assumptions. Its final equation, E=mc², derived in a September follow-up, revealed mass and energy as interchangeable, a concept that would later power nuclear reactors and bombs. These papers, produced in a bureaucratic backwater, stunned the scientific world. Einstein mailed copies to luminaries like Planck, who championed his quantum work, though some, like Hendrik Lorentz, initially resisted relativity's implications. By 1906, Einstein's ideas were debated across Europe, but his patent office job continued. He corresponded with Marić, who was back in Serbia, expecting their second child, possibly Liesl, whose fate remains unclear. Their letters mixed physics with domestic concerns, diapers, finances, and love, revealing a partnership strained by his growing focus on work. By 1908, recognition grew. Einstein became a private docent at Bern University, lecturing to sparse audiences while still at the patent office. In 1909, he spoke at a Salzburg conference, meeting Planck and others, and soon accepted a professorship at Zurich University, resigning his clerkship. This transition marked his shift from obscurity to academia, though he remained an outsider. His unorthodox style, lecturing in casual attire, scribbling equations with gusto, unsettling traditionalists. Meanwhile, tensions with Marić deepened. His letters hinted at emotional distance, and his flirtations with his cousin Elsa in Berlin foreshadowed future rifts. This period, from 1905 to 1910, was Einstein's intellectual zenith, but it came at personal cost. His relentless curiosity drove him to question the universe's fabric, yet it distanced him from family and colleagues. The world was only beginning to catch up to his vision, and as he moved toward general relativity, he carried both the weight of genius and the complexities of a life lived on his own terms. Albert Einstein died on April 18, 1955, at the age of 76, in Princeton, New Jersey. The cause was a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm, a condition he had been managing since a diagnosis in 1948. On April 17, he experienced severe abdominal pain while at home, signaling the aneurysm's rupture. He was admitted to Princeton Hospital, where doctors recommended emergency surgery. Einstein, however, refused, stating, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." He remained lucid, spending his final hours with his stepdaughter Margot and his secretary Helen Dukas, even requesting his latest calculations to continue working. Around 1:15 a.m., he suffered internal bleeding and passed away peacefully. After his death, his body was cremated, and his ashes were scattered at an undisclosed location. Per his wishes, controversially, pathologist Thomas Harvey performed an autopsy and removed Einstein's brain without family consent, preserving it for study. Later analysis revealed unique features, such as an unusually high number of glial cells and a complex prefrontal cortex. Though their link to his genius remained speculative, Einstein's death marked the end of a life that revolutionized physics, leaving a legacy that continues to shape science and inspire awe.